So Friday's here. Hello there. Welcome to The Pulse. We are coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. You can catch us on digital terrestrial TV because we are free to air on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 144. This is Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. Coming up this afternoon on The Pulse, Ghana Revenue Authority concludes stakeholder engagements on the implementation of the controversial electronic transactions levy as the 1.75 service charge takes effect in the next 48 hours. Meanwhile, the government is refuting claims there are significant challenges that could further delay the rollout of the policy. Don't forget, we'll bring updates shortly, and the debate continues on how to fix Ghana's fourth Republican Constitution, which was adopted some 30 years ago. This afternoon on The Pulse, we hear from the Institute of Democratic Governance as they share their concerns on the constitutional review process. And the New Patriotic Party continues its elections of executives across the country. It enters day 2 today. We'll take you across some of the polling centers here in the country for the latest. My name is Sogah. As always, The Pulse is brought to you by Global Communities Digni Low Affordable Safe Sanitation. This afternoon as well, we're streaming live on all of our YouTube channels and also on our social media handles. It's at JoyNews on TV. Feel free to tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is at Sogah. Thanks for choosing us and welcome to The Pulse. Well, so here's what we know, that in the next 48 hours, all electronic money transactions beyond 100 Ghana cedis per day will attract a 1.75% levy. This is because government says it will not put on hold the implementation of the controversial electronic transactions levy. Already, the Ghana Revenue Authority says it has put out a guideline indicating the measures that it will adopt, which will include a modified phased approach to the implementation of the e-levy. And as we speak, there are meetings underway between officials of the Ghana Revenue Authority and telecommunications companies. We'll be bringing you some updates on that meeting. But first, here's a breakdown of the guidelines by the Ghana Revenue Authority for you. It indicates that the levy shall be charged and remitted by a charging entity to the Ghana Revenue Authority, and the Act actually specifies the following charging entities. So here are the entities that will be charging the electronic transactions levy. We know that first of all, it includes the electronic money issuers such as MTN mobile money services. You also have Vodafone Cash catered for in the guideline. There's Airtel Tigo Money as well. We have ZPay, G Money, and then you have the Yup wallet. Then there are more service providers that are not stated explicitly in that guideline. But also on point 2, the Ghana Revenue Authority is indicating in the guidelines that payment services and payment service providers as well will be captured. Then the levy shall be charged and then remitted by some more entities under the Act, which includes banks. We have the Consolidated Bank of Ghana, for instance, and also GCB. We have the Agricultural Development Bank. And then there's also the specialized deposit-taking institutions, such as the rural and community banks, savings and loans companies as well, and some other financial houses. We'll bring all of those details to you, but there's more. Also in terms of the guideline, under the Act as well, the electronic transfer is being defined as a transaction carried out electronically on the initiative of the originator through an institution or a platform to make available an amount of money to the beneficiary. Thus, the levy is charged on transfers only, transactions such as bank deposits and withdrawals, mobile money cash in, and also cash out as well, will be excluded from the levy. So that's part of the guidelines that we have. Then it continues to indicate that the electronic transfer levy applies to the following transfers as specified in the second schedule of the Act. So we have mobile money transfers done between accounts on the same electronic money issuer, sending money from a mobile money wallet to another individual or entity on the same platform. It's part of the activities that will be captured here in terms of the electronic transactions levy. We also have other terms and conditions which apply. We have B, mobile money transfers from an account on one electronic money issuer to a recipient on another electronic money issuer, sending money from a mobile money wallet to on one platform to another individual's or entity's mobile money wallet on another platform. That would also mean that the transactions will be covered. You would have to pay that 1.75%. But there's more as well, talking about some other categories that are covered in terms of the electronic transactions levy. We have transfers from bank accounts to mobile money accounts. We have persons transferring money from an individual's or entity's bank account to another individual or entity's mobile money wallet. This would include all payouts to mobile money wallets from gaming and games of chance, such as lottery and betting. So all of these activities will be covered. But in terms of the activities that are not covered, you need to also know about them. Some of the transactions that would not be, will not be subject to that 1.75% deduction. So we'll bring that to you shortly in terms of the transactions that are not covered. But here's what you need to know. The point D is also talking about the fact that transfers from mobile money accounts to bank accounts, transferring money from an individual or entity's mobile money wallet to another individual or entity's bank account will be covered. So it goes on to talk about the banks and the digital payment platforms. And then what we also know is that there are some transfers or transactions that would not be covered. So here we are. The transactions that will not be covered includes the cumulative transfer of 100 cedis a day made by the same person. We know that that 100 cedis threshold is the value of the electronic transfers above which the levy will be applied. This accrues to persons or individuals or entities who have updated their records with the charging entities using the national identity card or the taxpayer identification number. Then point B is also talking about some more transactions that would not be covered. Now, a transfer between accounts owned by the same person, which includes transfers to joint accounts, either by account holder, transfers into a trust account by a trustee, and other charges in that same bracket will not be covered. But we're also hearing of some refunds that will be applied as well when it comes to the electronic transaction levy. So there's a possibility that there could be errors in transferring money to wrong accounts or wallets as well. So when that happens, the Ghana Revenue Authority is indicating that there will be some refunds or reversal of transfers to you if you're wrongfully charged. So you are entitled to that. If there's an error in the transfer of money to the wrong account or wallet, then you may have some refund as well, or reversal when there's a wrongful charge by the charging entity and unavailability of GRA e-levy assessment application programming interface. And then we also have reversals will also occur when the charges happen in terms of an erroneous deduction. That would also be covered under the e-levy. So these are some of the conditions that are being given as part of the guidelines from the Ghana Revenue Authority. But there's a need for us to tell you this as well, that as we speak, a meeting is underway between officials of the Ghana Revenue Authority and some telcos to clear all the issues out ahead of implementation. Some minority MPs also claim that government may not be able to roll out implementation due to the lack of infrastructure. However, government has been reacting to that claim. Deputy Finance Minister Dr. John Kumar says government is ready and will continue with the implementation of the e-levy.
We are 95% ready, so the 48 hours should make it 100%.
So we are 95% ready, and the next 48 hours will be 100% ready.
Yes, we are rolling out, God willing, May 1st. The e-levy is coming on live. It is also not true. Let me try to respond to the propaganda out there that e-levy is going to tax churches and mosques for their tithe and offerings. That's a complete lie and falsehood, and I encourage people to disregard that claim. There's no truth in that statement. E-levy does not affect churches, their offerings and tithes or zakat or things like that. So let me put that in perspective.
Dr. Kuma, just to clarify, so, and I listened to that conversation as Sam George and others had them. He specifies that, you know, especially on the back of COVID, some people may not go to church, but they pay their tithes, they pay their offering via Momo. You're aware of that, right? And that is what he was referencing, that if these churches, they may have to use merchant numbers, or if they are not, then it means that if I decide to send, let's say, 200 CDs as offering or tithe, and I am using Momo, 1.5 will hit me, right? But that's supposed to be offering. If I were giving it in church, there would be no 1.5 on it. So that is the context in which some of this is. How is that going to be managed?
Yes, that's the context I completely disagree. First of all, assuming you issued a check for your tithe of, say, 2,000 Ghana cedis, your bank is still going to charge you for your bank charges services for issuing a check. Does it mean that you are being charged for your tithe? Or assuming that I picked my car, bought fuel, and drove to the bank and withdrew 2,000 cedis to go and pay my tithe, the transportation to the bank to do the withdrawal and transportation to the church, is it part of the tithe I'm paying? So this is a complete propaganda just to create unnecessary fear in people. If you decide to pay your tithe of 2,000 Ghana cedis, exactly 2,000 Ghana cedis will go to the church or to the mosque, and it will not be taxed. E-levy is not designed to tax church.
Well, joining us now is Charles Addo, speaks for the Association of Mobile Money Merchants. Thank you, sir, for your time. So here we are. Government says it is ready to roll out the electronic transactions levy. Stakeholder engagements are still proceeding. Have you been engaged? And would you say that you are ready as an association for the implementation?
A very good afternoon to you, Sherry Stewart. Thanks for having me. As you rightly put it, government is 95% ready for rollout. Equally as agents, we are more than ready because the implementation of this law lies with us. And as an association or agents across the country, we are more than ready. More education is ongoing, both on the one-on-one and that of the media. So for us, we are more than ready.
You earlier indicated some of the concerns that you had as a group ahead of the implementation. Have all those issues been sorted out?
Yeah, like I stated earlier, the other side, government have called on us on May 8th to have engagement with him at the Placard House, and we want to reserve all those challenges and then table it before the government.
We know that you would also be engaging government on your concerns in the coming days. What are the details of that meeting, and what's your expectation? What are the exact demands that you're placing before government?
Even before the passage of the e-levy, we tabled out 30 challenges that the agents on the street is going to confront with e-levy tax. Among those are unemployment, decline in our profits, the risk of losing most of our resources in terms of investment, people withdrawing their investment, the panic withdrawal. We foresaw all those things, and earlier we put it out there. But the major challenge now is with capital. You know, most of the working capital of the agents are on loans. Most of them have subscribed one way or the other to loans, and therefore the interest rates are so high. So now the challenge on the board or the table is we want to speak to government so that he will help us with the soft loans that comes with very low interest, and therefore that will help us maximize and meet the needs of the customers. And by so doing, if we are able to do that, government will be able to at least get its targeted revenue, that is the 6.9 million Ghana cedis.
What will be the essence of that soft loan you're asking for?
Like I stated earlier, we work with loans. And because of the higher interest rate, most of us can't at least go for much loan or much money to be able to meet the needs of the customer. And when this can happen, it's going to be a challenge because we are unable to meet the needs of all those our customers or the prospective customers that work with us. And therefore, when that can happen, our transactional volumes will reduce. If we get soft loan and money that comes with low interest rate, it means that we'll be able to serve every customer that will walk into our office. And by so doing, we'll be able to maximize the volume of transactions. And mind you, the e-levy will be materialized when we are able to do much transactions. That will help the government to realize its stated objective in terms of revenue. So if you are unable to meet the needs of the customers, then it tells you the government has nothing to get in terms of revenue.
Have your members been educated ahead of rollout?
Every day there's an engagement going on. If you go to our Facebook wall, all our media handles, our social media handles, we educate our members. And that is why I stated earlier, there are two forms of education ongoing. We have the one-on-one education that has to do with customers walking into our offices or shops. We educate them on the need for them not to panic to withdraw their money, because when your money is set to be in your account, e-levy is not going to affect it until you do a transfer. And even with the transfer, should you exceed the threshold of 100 Ghana cedis before even the e-levy will take effect. So we are educating them, and equally, you've also given me this medium to educate both customers and the ordinary Ghanaians so that they will have better understanding with regards to the law.
Charles, would have to leave it here. I'm grateful that you've been able to spend some time with us here on the Pulse. Now, the Ghana Police Service is cautioning the New Patriotic Party constituency executives to comply with electoral laws as the party's constituency elections actually enter day 2 today. Now, day 1, as we do know, was characterized by chaos, arrests, and alleged removal of the names of some executives from the Voters Album. Director of Operations at the Police Service, DCOP Mohammed Suraj, says the police has revised its security arrangements to ensure law and order during the polls.
As you rightly said, when you plan, you always go back to revise your operation to suit the demands. We have information that this constituency has a record of, violence in the past, or it's a hotspot. So we decided to plan accordingly by taking security measures proactively. As you can see, we've deployed to secure the venue where the election will take place. And even before coming at the junction, you saw our motorbikes also deployed. And then the combat teams from the Accra region and then the National Operation Department working together to ensure that there's also orderly parking of cars, there's good access, and also working with the chairman of the committee here. And the 2 municipal chief executives are also here. The electoral officers are also here. And the MPs. We are now inviting the coordinators.
Okay.
So what we want to do is engagement. We want all stakeholders to have a meeting with us. Security is a collective and shared responsibility. So police are here to ensure the security, but we can't do that effectively without, having a coordinated meeting with all the stakeholders. As you can rightly see, they are here. The district commander. We will just engage them to play by the rules. Ensure that no motorbikes are allowed 100 meters radius from here, and they are complying. No cars should park within here. Contestants can come and alight, and then the vehicles move, except police vehicles. And all the aspirants will be brought in by their coordinators.
Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for Ablekuluan North, Sheila Patel, says the names of delegates removed from the register have been resolved, a move she believes will forestall further agitation among delegates.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to speak to your listeners. I think if you look around us, you can see that we are getting ready to start our program today. And despite the misconception that Absa is violent and all of that, you can see a very peaceful atmosphere here. The security police are here, and they are here to support us to ensure that everything goes on smoothly. So we expect a very peaceful day, a very successful day.
There are claims in other constituencies about names of all delegates that have been missing from the album. Do we have such a situation here in Abdulkwano?
So the elections committee, after the presentation of the final album to the region, has already displayed the album to aspirants and constituent executives. So any outstanding issues have already been discussed, and we know what to expect as far as those few album issues are concerned, so that we will not disenfranchise anyone.
So that has been resolved or is being addressed?
That one is being addressed.
It's being addressed. Yes. So there wouldn't be any
because there were one or two issues that came up after the album had been presented. Okay. But knowing that these are people who are supposed to be in there, but for one reason or the other are missing, we have already discussed it with the elections committee, and we have agreed to ensure that those people are vote, so that it will be resolved later for the election.
Let's go on the grounds now and speak to my colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson, who's been monitoring events for us. Parker, what's the situation right now?
Blessed, the situation here is quite calm, very, very peaceful, I must say. The process has seen the executives cooperating with officials of the Electoral Commission and the Ghana Police Service as well. There is heavy security presence, over 50 police officers deployed to the Mother and Child Community School at Ayawaso North Constituency, precisely Mamobi. Now, the regional commander, DCOP Idi Lansa Seido, has been doing his own touring of the constituency election. And when he got here just a while ago, I had a conversation with him, and he's been talking to me about his own assessment of the situation.
The process is free. It's moving on smoothly. Everything is set up. The security is also very, very, very adequate. So, as police officers, our duty is to ensure that there's law and order. Nothing comes to disturb the polling process. And that is what we have achieved. And so far, so good, very here. With my team, we have also been to Abdulkwano North, and that place too, everything is going on smoothly. Yes, we are leaving no stone unturned in the act of what? Providing security for the elections, and sure that everything will be peaceful at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah. Yesterday, I've heard some critics say that the police did not pick up enough intelligence at Okankwe South constituency, where there was riots. You could see delegates in a fisticuff with some of your personnel. Was that the case, sir?
It's not the case. It's not the case, because even as early as 8 or 7:30 thereabout, our officers were already on the ground. They came to meet the gate locked, but they did not know who locked it. They started engaging people peacefully to let go, open the place so that the voting can take place. But later on, it became like a kind of scuffle. But we stood our grounds. We stood our grounds. We are absolutely neutral. Our duty is to provide security. So if you come to counter us, we will know where to place you. Thanks be to God, those who are there are laughing at the wrong side of their mouths.
And what's their status now, sir? I know four persons were arrested. Yeah. What's their status now?
They are in my hotels across the city.
They are in your hotels across the city?
Yes, cooling off, enjoying themselves in the hotels.
And when are they being processed for courts on these issues?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. When we are going to court, we'll let you know.
But finally, with your team, how many flashpoints have you identified? Because we know tomorrow and Sunday, quite a number of constituencies will be having their own constituency elections.
For us, we assume that every polling station is a hotspot. Okay, South wasn't even on our list of hotspots, but it turned out to be. Human behavior is very, very subjective. It can change from cool to hot, and we are ever ready for that. We are ready to take care of everybody. If you are coming to peacefully vote, come and vote. If you want to foment trouble, be prepared.
So is that a warning to persons who perhaps...
I assure you that we are leaving no stone unturned. If anybody wants to obstruct the process, the person will be taken care of appropriately.
Commander, thank you very much for your time,
Thank
sir.
you very much, too.
The regional police commander, DCOP Seidu Lanka. Now, Blessed, you recall that yesterday some persons, national security persons, were at the Okain Crystal constituency. In fact, some of them engaged in the voting process and were arrested. Today, 4 national security persons have equally been arrested. The DCOP has been issuing a warning to all social security agencies to stay away from the voting process.
Electoral process. So if you are a security organization and you find yourself here, you are an unwanted person.
Talk about national security, sir.
We have made it clear to the party officers that the Ghana Police Service is capable of providing absolute security for this election. So we don't want to entertain any other form of security at the polling stations.
I see. So the men, how many men did you arrest today? Those perhaps from national security?
Four guys were picked up.
Today?
Yes, this morning.
And then yesterday too, I know that about 2 guys were picked up at
earlier on. Yes.
Do we know the status of investigation of those 2 persons?
We are taking care of them at the appropriate level.
So they are still in your custody?
Yes, please.
So going forward, we have tomorrow, Sunday and Monday, persons who are from national security wanting to perhaps be at the voting grounds. What will be your words to them, sir?
If you are a delegate and you are with the national security or whatever setup, come in the form of a civilian and vote and go away. If you come like us standing here, we'll take care of you. Because these elections is the Ghana Police Service who has been mandated to provide absolute security for the elections. And we're not going to entertain counter security on the ground.
Because yesterday it was in the news. I mean, I captured a man in that uniform taking part of the voting process. So nobody should do that going forward.
Absolutely. If you are a delegate, come in the form of a mufti and do what you are supposed to do. Nobody will unmask you. But if you want to hide under any uniform and come in, either to intimidate or obstruct, we'll take care of you. Thank you very much.
Well, so that's Parker Wilson for us. He has more updates from the ground. Parker, what more do we know?
So, if you are a national security person and a delegate, but it's emerging that the man we captured yesterday, who was participating in the voting process, is actually a polling station chairman, and that's the reason he had to participate in the voting process. So behind me is where the delegates are at 3 p.m. and EC is expected to close the polls, and you see quite a number of individuals massing up here, trying to ensure that they go through the process. As I said earlier, it's been largely peaceful here. I said, thank you very much for your time. What's your name, sir?
My name is Bashiru.
But Bashiru, so what is happening here? I can see you're in the queue, you're having some conversation. What's happening?
Well, everything is normal process, you understand? The reason why some of them, they have seen Friday, some of them went to the mosque, so they are now coming. They want to find out whether they will get to But it's the process that they say they use they are falling through the station by the police station.
By the police station, those who couldn't come earlier, we wait after these people casting their vote. They will recall all the police station executives who were not here in the early days. So that's why we proceed to take our judgment like this. But everything is on the normal.
I see, and there's assurance that all the delegates who are here will be given an opportunity to vote.
That's what the EC official told us. Everybody, each and everybody is right to so long as
how many Africans are here?
So initially, the process was that they call the electoral coordinators of police station areas. You come with your members and you go through the process. And as I said, some of them were not available. They have not come, and the EC said they were ending polls at 3 p.m. It's 3 p.m. and that's why they are trying to bring the electoral commission to give them some time. Madam, what do you mean at that process is not saying?
Oh, Bibia Daddy.
Bibia Daddy, do you how many minutes now to Abani?
Oh, me 30 minutes been a midway to because somebody can't free your police station. I mean, here it's a ban and me catch them no man better. It's Bibia okay.
Yeah, okay. It's one and now to man as the chairman.
Hey, I know the I know chairman Kelly na yetwaman Kelly na yetwaman no na edeneko.
So this woman tells me that, of course, the voting process has been very successful, quite smooth. She came, she went through the process, they guided her, had to tend to the polling booth and went to vote. Some of the, of course, the electoral commission boss himself is here, but he looks quite busy because it is time and it's ensuring that things are done correctly to capture every delegate on the register to vote. So you look at him, he's quite busy, very, very busy. Very, very busy. Apostle Watson is here. So
everybody will vote. Everybody will vote before we close. If it is 3 p.m. and you are in the queue, you are here, you will vote. It doesn't mean that when it's 3 p.m. we are closing and sacking people. No, it doesn't work that way. When it's 3 p.m., we'll call the policeman to be at the back of the last person, even if it is at the gate. Everybody will go through the voting process patiently before we close, and then the voting process will check everything. So just relax. We are here to serve.
Well, you have some worry? You don't believe that?
Yeah, the queue is not moving at all.
Why is it not moving? Have you checked with your people here?
Yeah, I've checked up till now. Our police station name has not been mentioned. So we are still waiting for them guy to mention our name so that we'll go and vote.
But the EC boss says that if you are in the queue, automatically you will have the opportunity to vote. You don't trust him on this?
I don't trust him.
You don't trust him?
I don't trust him.
You think you will disenfranchise?
When it comes to politics, we don't trust each other. Unless we finish everything, then we'll trust each other.
Well, so Blessed, people have trust issues. I mean, it's not about women or men who have trust issues, but politicians who are queuing to cast their ballot equally have trust issues. They believe the EC perhaps might disenfranchise them. Well, this man is here, sir. You've monitored the process. What's your name and your position, sir?
Well, my name is Alhaji Haruna. I'm the National Chairman, Zongo Ambassadors for Baumia, and also a polling station chairman.
I see. Polling station chairman. What's been your own assessment of this exercise?
Oh, I believe today's program is going to mark the success of MPP in general, and also the success of Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia. Yes, and as you can see, everything is moving all right. There's no any problem. So we are happy because this exercise is going to mark the success of the MPP. Yes.
You went through the process. You voted.
No, I'm yet.
You are yet to. Why? Since morning.
Yeah, you know. I went to the work. I have to be in the office, and then I work under somebody. So that I just came. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, but the AC says they'll give the opportunity to vote, right?
Sure.
Right. Thank you very much. So, Blessed, these are some of the delegates I've interacted with. Of course, some have trust issues. Others are confident that the EC, even though it's 3 p.m., will give them the opportunity to vote. So, by and large, I must say that the delegates are complying with the laid-down procedure. The police still here, ensuring that there's law and order. No individual misbehaved. So, but in the morning, there were a little bit of misunderstanding between some police personnel and the delegate over those who did not have accreditation. Well, that was resolved smoothly, and so the process equally went on. So, this is the update from the Ayawaso North constituency, Mambobi to be precise, Mother and Child Community School. This is where we are at the moment.
Okay then, Parker Wilson giving us the latest, but we understand all is not well within the Dom Kobinya constituency. There are more concerns emerging from the MP's camp. In fact, those who support the Member of Parliament, Adjoa Safua, threatening to boycott the exercise in the area. Joining us now is Nana Dubing Kwapong, who's the aide to Member of Parliament for the area. Thank you, sir, for your time here on the poll. So we understand that some members within the Dom Kobinya constituency are raising concerns about attacks, stigmatization against members and persons who support the MP for the area, Sarah Jasafo. Why are you making these claims?
Well, yes, the claims we are making are not unfounded. This is because since the process for the election of polling stations and electoral area coordinators started, there have been several infractions as far as the album is concerned. But in making our case, it looks like the party structure from the region to the national, nobody seems to be paying particular attention to the issues that we have been raising on the issue of our album.
Lay them out for us. What are the concerns with the party album?
Okay, so the issues are that I represented a member of parliament on the elections committee in the constituency. After collating all the entries, I mean all the applications that came for the polling stations, we realized that out of the 356 polling stations, there were going to be contests in about 320 of them. So as a committee, we felt that looking at how the constituency by then was all over the news because of the absence of our member of parliament, we didn't want to conduct elections. So we decided that for the 199 old polling stations, we were going to leave the executives intact. And then for the new 157, we were going to split it 50-50. At the end of the day, we realized that the 50% from Honorable side wasn't included in the album. And that has been our bone of contention since the album was given out to us.
So why then conclude that it's a deliberate attack on persons who support the Member of Parliament?
Yeah, that is what it is, because if we are going into an election and an album is being made, this is a sitting Member of Parliament. The album is what is used in electing constituency executives and the parliamentary candidate, as well as the presidential candidate. So if we agree that this is how we are compiling the album, but then you ignore my side and then populate the album with members of Okwe's household and all of that, then it just goes to mean that you just want...
Nana, I guess it's not fair to be referring to names at this point.
Okay.
Yes,
I
exactly.
But that is a reality. Yeah. When you go through the album, you realize that members of a particular household have taken the album from the security.
Yeah, but the point is, what evidence do you have to back that, mentioning the Okwe specifically?
Oh, well, for your team which came on the ground, we showed them evidence. I mean, I can show you evidence where the brother and everybody, household, have been put into this album.
Yeah,
so
but they are members of the NPP regardless.
Well, yes. Well, for that, I will admit that they are members of the NPP. Similarly, these people we are talking about are members of the NPP who have worked on the ground. They are the grassroots people. They are the people who do the legwork for the party to win the elections. So with the way they are being treated, I don't see why you have to kick them out and then go and bring members of a household who do virtually nothing, save for the name that they have in the party. It's not fair.
You go to the extent of threatening to boycott the elections within the Dominic constituency. Why so?
It's not a threat. We have actually sent an official communication to the region and to the national party that we have withdrawn from the election. Because in making our case, the region, we've been there the entire week. Nobody is ready to listen because anybody who goes to the regional chairman comes back and then it's like, well, there seems to be nothing they can do. At the national, nobody is willing and ready to listen to you because from all intents and purposes, some people at the national office too are, also involved in whatever is going on in the constituency. The agenda, as it is just to be able to take the honorable member of parliament out because she was unable to come around and support government in Parliament.
No, I mean, you've been making speculations all throughout this interview. You're not able to necessarily pinpoint a fact, some basis to prove that indeed this is all an agenda against Ajosafo.
Okay. You're saying it is an allegation.
But that it remains an allegation until you prove to us, until you give us that evidence.
I'm saying, I mean, everybody would arrive at that conclusion because I represented the Member of Parliament on the committee. I know the work we did on the committee. So their side, they brought their bit. Our side also brought our list. How come that their side, they, found their names in the album, but the side that was brought from the Member of Parliament is not in the album?
Help me with this. How would you respond to this? How about this? Let's flip the sides. The point is, the concern is, if the Member of Parliament herself, Sarah Ajosafo, were to be present, all of this would have been avoided. So where is Sarah Ajosafo? We can't see her. She's not around, not even when her own political party is doing a party reorganization exercise. Is that not telling of the quality of leadership she's providing in the area?
This is not the first time Honorable Sarah Ajosafo is going to Parliament, but it is the first time that for quite a while, some months, she hasn't been present in the country, in Parliament, and in the constituency. It means that something, Jermaine, is keeping her away. So it is not intentional. She is not cooling off because she is, abdicating from the responsibility that she's been given as Member of Parliament. Yes, if she was around, probably all this wouldn't have happened. But then, is it also fair that because she is not around, her supporters should bear the brunt of her absence?
This is politics. You are a politician, so you should be answering the questions. It's as though your camp is giving away the game. That's what you're doing to your opponents, because the seat primarily does not belong to Sarah Ajosafo. There are other interested parties. You've mentioned some names, for instance. These are all persons who are interested in the seat.
Yes, they may be interested in the seat. They have been interested in the seat. But then as a party, there are processes that lead to the election of someone to represent the party in Parliament. So we ensure that it is the party's duty and responsibility to ensure that there is fairness in the process leading up to that. But from the word go, it looks like they are just trying to skew the process towards a certain direction.
What's your fear? Are you scared that your Member of Parliament, your boss, someone you work with closely, would lose her seat? Are you scared that Sarah Ajosafo may not be in Parliament in 2024?
The fear is not for Honorable Sarah Ajosafo. The fear is for the party and the constituency. Because, there may be some people who might be downplaying the influence of Honorable in the constituency. But let me dare say that this is a Member of Parliament who, because she was pregnant in December of 2020, couldn't do effective campaign in the constituency, but yet was able to garner 78,000 votes for the NPP. You don't joke with such a candidate. When you look at the results of the primaries in the constituency, you will realize that the constituency, the party in the constituency is divided in the middle between her and then your queen.
So what are you threatening? You're basically telling us that Sarah Ajosafo may go independent.
No, we haven't said so.
But you're talking about the numbers here. You're talking about the numbers here.
I am talking about the numbers to avert the mind of the party leadership that the path they have taken could affect the party come 2024. Not because maybe Honorable is going independent or maybe because we have withdrawn from the contest. But if they do not, manage the situation with some tact, it can affect the fortunes of the party in 2024, especially when we are singing and hoping to break the 8 in 2024. That is the point we are making, and that is the fear. And not because of Honorable.
If these unfair practices continue, what's the worst we could see from Sarah Ajosafo?
Well, she hasn't given or indicated anything, but she is not happy with what has been done as far as the album is concerned.
She's not happy you've spoken to her? She's not happy at all?
She's not. I mean, obviously, she's not. That just this one time that she has to be away. The party, she has so much given, so much toiled for, put herself at the disposal of, and this is the way they want, to pay her back. Obviously, she wouldn't be a happy person because of the way things are going, especially coming from people who should know better in the party, the regional chairman, the general secretary, and all of that. They are the ones behind all these things happening in the constituency. And it is breaking the constituency and not Honorable Sarah Joseph. Because today, as I said, she has half of the membership in the delegate size of about 1,040. She has about half of that behind her. Imagine these people and those related to them not coming out in 2024 to come and vote for the party. What will be the state of the party as we want to break the 8 in 2024? That is what we are talking about.
I'm sorry, we'll have to drag this a bit longer. The concern is, and what you're telling us basically is that the MP is not happy. But the fact is, when the party needed her the most, she did not turn up to support the party.
You see, I will not want to hold brief for her on that. But it is just this one time that something had denied her the opportunity to present herself to support the party. But she supported the party right from President Kufuor's time in 2008 till now. So why should just this one time, the inability to come and support, be the basis for which we want to, pay her back with so much? It's not fair. She's always been there for the party, giving the best of her life. I mean, over the past 10 years or so, she's been at the service of the party. So just this one time, she couldn't come around.
Why are you saying just this one time? I mean, it's been a whole tussle between Sarah Joseph. We've had accounts from some colleague MPs who claim that the party hierarchy has had to engage the member of parliament. She's not yielding. Even the chief of staff, per some accounts, have had to beg directly the MP to come to the aid of the party. She's not done all of these things. I'm sure you've heard the accounts as well. Some members of parliament who were not even feeling well at the time of the consideration of the e-levy had to be brought to the precincts of the House in an ambulance. That's how much sacrifice some persons have given out for the party. Why is Sarah Joseph not doing so?
Regarding Honorable Sarah Joseph's relationship with the Chief of Staff, I know that Honorable respects the Chief of Staff so much. The Chief of Staff also likes Honorable so much. The Chief of Staff is like a mother to my boss, to Honorable Sarah Joseph, and they maintain that relationship. That thing out there that she disrespected the Chief of Staff is untrue. It is all part of the grand agenda in giving her a bad name because she wasn't able to be present for the passage.
She never met the Chief of Staff?
She met the Chief of Staff severally when she was in town in December. I mean, there were several meetings with the Chief of Staff, and the Chief of Staff was nice. I mean, for me, I happened to be around, so I saw the cordiality and the mutual respect between the two of them. So I can speak to it. There is that respect, and there is no way that Honorable Sarah Joseph is going to disrespect the Chief of Staff. I mean, it's not something that would even suffice, so to speak. So I don't know, it's just part of the agenda that, people throw out there just to give a bad name. It is not true. But for some of these other parliamentarians, I would say that they just were speaking out of ignorance, or maybe because she wasn't present. They came out and then, decided to make allegations or say certain things, that they were quite not well informed about. Yes, but I mean, it's not intentional that she stayed away. If there was that, she would have come.
Chiefs have been sent to Sarah Joseph, which is not yielding as well. I mean, when will your boss return and do the simple duty that she's been elected to do?
I will not be able to answer that because she hasn't indicated to me when she's coming. But then the last time we had a conversation, she gave me the indication that she will be around by the time the next session of Parliament resumes.
That's the promise she gave you?
Yeah, I mean, that's, yes, discussions we had the last time when Parliament was about going on recess and all the other issues that came up.
By the time she arrives, the party may be in disarray within your constituency. Are you not concerned about that?
Well, you see, if the party is in disarray, I wouldn't want to put the blame at the feet of the Member of Parliament. I would put the blame at the feet of the party leadership who have failed to ensure that the right things are done in the constituency, regardless of the fact that she is not around. It will be very difficult to put the blame on Honorable Sarah herself. If the party had ensured that the right things are done in the constituency, there wouldn't be any problem. I mean, even though she is not in the country.
All right, then. We'll have to leave it here, and I'm grateful that you've been able to spend some time with us here on the Pulse on the JoyNews channel. There's also a need for us to focus on the CPP, the cracks within the Convention People's Party. This time round is deepening, and we know that the chairperson of the party, Ekosa Frimpoma Sapong, is also calling on the General Secretary of the party, Nanaya Jantua, to leave the party because she's an alien. Now it comes as Nanaya Jantua allegedly chaired a meeting in which the Council of Elders presented some votes and also voted against the chairperson herself after the first vice chairperson of the party, Onzi Nkrumah, also challenged her chairmanship. Now, per that meeting, she's no longer qualified to carry out herself as the chairperson of the CPP. But speaking at the press conference earlier, Ekosa Frimpoma Sapong insists the said meeting is irrelevant.
And elections were conducted. I was legally elected by EC and properly sworn in by the Council of Elders, based on the provisions in our Constitution that gives them power to do what is necessary for the interest of the party as at the time that it was done, which was 2-3 months before the national elections, during the COVID time. Anything else is something that would be handled by the party within the internal structures of the party, or anybody who wants any matter would have to take it to court, which happened. And when it was taken to court, the Council of Elders met with whoever took the case to court, and a consent judgment was reached. The consent judgment that was reached was not reached by me. It was reached by the very organ in our party that allows for arbitration, which is the Council of Elders. So they met with the gentleman that took the case to court, and it was rightfully and done in the interest of the party again. The gentleman actually not even exhaust the internal matters. If he had, it would not have ended up in court. So here we are. The court's settlement became a consent judgment that the decision in our court of law, when there's a consent judgment between a plaintiff and defendant, and is put in the court system, it becomes the decision of the High Court. So it's been entered. And I will make sure that everybody here gets a copy of the consent judgment. Meeting that supposedly sets me aside and appointed Kwame Jantua to chair a Congress committee is a joke. They say it's illegal. The Council of Elders say that meeting was illegal. So for goodness sake, that is what it is. Until otherwise, stated by the same Council of Elders or by the courts, it was an illegal meeting. And they have stated here in the letter why it was and what rather should have happened if they had good intentions.
If you don't have this, these are all entrenched positions. I understand Nanaya Jantua made a statement on Metro TV specifically by using the word, quoting the word shall, which she picked from Article 93E, arguing on this 50+1. This is a mischief. This is highly diabolical. And I'm sorry to say maybe Nanaya Jantua is an alien, to this particular spirit of the Convention People's Party, which is the Constitution. If not so, the Council of Elders, they denigrate, lambast, spit in their face. They are part of this Constitution. Article 67 and 68 spells out who they are, what they do, their functions and authorities when the party is in a turmoil or in a situation like this. And yes, they did execute that because one, the Constitution was set aside when they went to court to take Bataku's case out, because the court then granted them the power to then come and set up a vehicle that will run this party to the 2020 election, meaning that the Constitution clearly was set aside. So I want you people to ask legitimate questions, because it is not your fault, because when people are embarking on a road of mischief, they come to you and propagate the mischief.
Well, so the debate is on about how to fix Ghana's 1992 constitution. Just yesterday, President Akufo-Addo delivered an address to mark 30 years since the referendum to adopt the constitutional framework. Experts have been sharing their views on how to improve the framework. For President Akufo-Addo, there's a need for Ghanaians to remain faithful to the tenets of democracy. Listen.
We've had 5 presidents in the history of the Fourth Republic, with peaceful transfers of power from a governing to an opposition party on 3 separate occasions. Even when there was disagreement with the outcome of an election, it was the Supreme Court on 2 occasions, rather than the streets, that validated its result. We are arguably the most stable democracy in West Africa. On this day, the 30th anniversary of the referendum, whose votes ushered in the Fourth Republic, I urge all of us to renew trust in our democracy and bear in mind at all times the oft-cited statement that the price of liberty is eternal vigilance. I say so because there are some who, for their own parochial and selfish interests, would want to see a return to the dark days of authoritarian rule, simply because, with no respect for the Ghanaian people, they are either unwilling to subject themselves or their vision to the open scrutiny of the Ghanaian people, or because they know they will be rejected by the Ghanaian people and thus seek a shortcut to office and power. Let us strengthen our resolve to resist such persons for our common good.
Here's what we know. Experts are calling for immediate measures to address the gender gap between men and women in the technological sectors. Today is the World's Girls in ICT Day, which the world is marking under the theme Expanding Horizons and also Challenging Attitudes. The International Telecom Union, which is ITU, for instance, is asking for the promotion of the use of information and communication technology to ensure women and girls have the necessary skills and tools to fully exploit the benefits of today's digital economy. So how can we achieve this target? Joining us via Zoom now is Grace Simpson, lecturer at Computer Science Department at the Ghana Communications Technology University. Thank you so much for your time. So we know that we're celebrating Girls in ICT Day, but there are many people out there who don't even know about the essence of the celebration. Help us understand today's event.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Today, we are celebrating Girls in ICT or technology to help create awareness that there still is room for women to join technology. And as much as women are joining, we also want to let our voices be heard, that we can communicate effectively to the economy by the use of technology.
Well, but we know that, for instance, there's that inequality which still prevails, and many efforts are being made from all angles to achieve that target. Why are we having that difficulty in simply bridging the gap?
I believe one key thing is the lack of mentorship for young women who are upcoming in technology, and also for the right information that has to be given to them through these mentorship programs. For one, most women think that it is difficult to be in technology, most especially because it involves mathematics and some kind of programming. But with the right mentorship and women who have made it or still in the tech space, we can now address this issue and try and bridge the gap.
Is the challenge largely about training, or there are other external factors that are accounting for this?
Basically, there is the UN SDG goal that hopes to train women in technology, and that will bring that sort of gap for the inequality. But also there is that willingness for women to take up these training. So there are a lot of training awareness in the university for women to take up these courses, as well as there are institutions like ours, Ghana Communication Technology University, who try to go out to the lower sessions in the training session, say from SSS, where we can capture them and then try and introduce these tech courses to them even before they come to the university level.
How bad is the situation, for instance, in developing nations like Ghana? The belief is we're even struggling with infrastructure. It's not there. So how then do you get to teach more girls to appreciate technological advancements and the need for such advancements in both education and industry as well?
I think for talking from my experience from our university, we try as much as possible to make the necessary infrastructure available for our students. Just recently, we launched in our faculty that will be made available to students with all the necessary gadgets or environment to improve upon the gap that exists. So universities are taking it up upon themselves to provide where the lack is in terms of infrastructure, as well as qualified people who can teach these courses.
So as we pursue that agenda of bridging the gap and also ensuring that women benefit from the use of technology, how then do we translate that from the academia training side into feeding the development of the nation, for instance? That's where we need to see the real effects of pushing more girls in ICT. How do we achieve that?
Right, so right from the university level, curriculum is developed in such a way that we identify gaps within the business field, where we give to students as projects. For a course I'm teaching this semester, we are doing web development, where we put the students in groups, and they've been given special topics to create certain kinds of websites for companies. And so from the university level, they are equipped with these kind of skills, where if they go out into the industry, it's already a gap that is being bridged out there. From the training, they are given practical experience, and then we target certain companies that we can provide solutions for them. So by the time they complete, they've worked with certain companies that have a need, and they've been able to get that experience that they can move on as well.
Right, Grace, and for instance, you are an IT person. As a female yourself, what has been the challenge for you in the practical world? I mean, working as a female who understands the space and working in that digital environment as well.
I think one key challenge is the fact that you have to push as hard as the men are doing. And for every woman, you would have your physical struggles here and there. But aside that, you have to put it on the side and try to strive. So you don't have the mindset of, oh, I'm a woman, and so I might be given certain privileges. But if you put it upon yourself that you have equal opportunities as the men, then you would behave and pick up certain opportunities as you go along. So there are challenges, but your mindset matters, your planning matters, and your priorities as well.
Obviously, we can't shy away from government policy. What can we do to better the various policies that we have been run, for instance, by the Communications Ministry, to help young girls to get to know the power of IT?
I believe that women have to be involved in creating these policies, because we would understand what we are in and will be able to bring out these challenges and find solutions to them. So if women are fully involved in policy development regarding the field that we are in, then we can now put forward solutions to these challenges.
Grace Simpson, I'm grateful that you've been able to join us. You're still watching The Pulse. We'll be back after this short break. And you're welcome back to The Pulse. Now, have you ever wondered why Muslims spend so much time reciting, listening to, and visiting centers for the translation of the Quran in the month of Ramadan? Well, in the following story, my colleague Anas Sabit shares with us one of the standout features of the Muslim holy book, a scripture believed to have been revealed to Prophet Muhammad during the month of Ramadan. From Techiman in the Bono East region, there's more in this report.
شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان.
Muslims believe that in the year AD 610, the angel Gabriel appeared to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and revealed to him the Quran, the Islamic holy book. Muslims fast during this month as a way to commemorate the revelation of the Quran.
The month of Ramadan, in which was revealed the Quran, a guidance for mankind and clear proof.
Have you ever wondered why Muslims give so much attention to Quranic recitations in the month of Ramadan?
Ramadan rewards are in multitudes. That is why we value Ramadan so much, and we recite so much in Ramadan. And more to the point, during Ramadan you always want to be closer to Allah as you are doing something spiritual. So because of that, you read or you recite Quran so much.
Malan Abdul Hanan Hidr has been reciting the Quran for its translation since he was 12.
I can say 2002-2003 year of Ramadan, I was in this mosque with our Imam, Sheikh Anas Al-Hassan Musa. May Allah accept his soul and grant him Jannat al-Firdaus. And possibly I was doing it before coming to Techiman. So I started reciting Quran by Imams during Tafsir around the age of 12 with my real father, Sheikh Hidr of Wa. He has also passed on. May Allah forgive him.
Malam Hanan says even though there are younger children who recite much more beautifully than he does, he's not ready to vacate his recitation seat to any other person.
Yes, that is my motivation. The best among you is the one that can recite the Quran. And I want to be the best among us. I know there are kids who recite now, their voices are very well, they are nicer than mine, but I am not giving them the chance to get closer. So I am still here. I will not expire soon. No, I will not do that.
Deputy Municipal Chief Imam of Al-Sunnah al-Jama'ah, Imam Khalid Umar Farouk, says the regular recitation of the Quran by Muslims in this month of Ramadan is a command from the Almighty God.
Quran akenkan ewon kitahudie kesiya eyenhire kesiya pa ewo sabo sense
benya Quran is associated with lots of blessings in this holy month of Ramadan. So in short, if you see Muslims reading the Quran in this month, it is purposely because it is a command from the Almighty God and also from the noble Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam wannan shay.
However, caution Muslims to desist from engaging into acts capable of nullifying their fasts.
Those who fast and
still go about insulting, backbiting, gossiping, and doing all sorts of negative stuff are losing the blessings that comes with the month. If you want to receive the blessings, do not insult, do not lie, do not gossip. You must read the Quran and reflect over its verses, and then do good as well. This will earn you the blessings associated with the month. For now, you should have a fair idea why Muslims spend so much time reciting, listening to, and visiting centers for the recitation of the Muslim holy book, the Quran, in the month of Ramadan. Reporting for JoyNews, Anas Sabit.
Tichman.
The Chief Executive Officer for the Minerals Income and Investment Fund, Edward Nanayao Kranting, has commended the National Chief Imam Sheikh Osman Shaributu for his religious tolerance and unity over the years. Edward Nanayao Kranting said this when his outfit presented a check of 20,000 Ghana cedis and some varieties of food items worth 100,000 Ghana cedis to the office of the Chief Imam to support the Ramadan celebration.
Was to share the end of the Ramadan with His Eminence Chief Imam, and also to make some donations towards his administration, towards his office, and some food items in line with the end of the Ramadan. And then the second is also to wish him happy 103rd birthday. We believe that the principles he stands for and what he represents, basically tolerance, especially religious tolerance, unity, resilience, love, and love for the nation, are things that as an entity and as a country we should imbibe and take forward in everything that we do. And then I won't say most important, but the last one is to seek his wise counsel and also his prayers for what we're doing, especially in our objective of becoming Africa's largest minerals income investment fund, and also for some of the things that we want to do in line with the President's vision of making sure we derive value across the entire value delivery chain of the mining sector.
Well, they came, they saw, they conquered, and that was how Shamar Senior High School became the champions of the Absa Science and Maths Quiz Western Zone Championship. Now, Shamar Senior High School earlier denied host and one-time winners of the National Science and Maths Quiz Ghana Senior Technical School an opportunity on the national stage after beating them during the regional qualification contest. Manuel Kranting has the rest of the story.
So, Shamar Senior High School, this is how they choose to celebrate. Debutant Shamar Senior High School managed to beat St. John's, also beat Archbishop Potter Girls to win the title as Western Zone of Champions. This man behind me, this gentlemen and ladies behind me cannot control their emotions. It's full of joy and excitement, for them. Earlier, they beat Ghana Secondary Technical School to qualify to the next stage. Let's find out from them what it is like at this point. Hi. Okay.
We are very excited and we won this one and we'll be challenging the other schools and nationals.
Oh, come on. We didn't expect this. We weren't expecting this, and God has been miraculous to us, and we say glory be to God.
Okay.
We are most grateful. That is what we say to God. We are most grateful. That is all.
He's back to win.
See, relax. Evergreen, Shas, the icons, relax, and expect more from us.
What should we expect in a national competition?
Just expect the best. Nothing more. Nothing but the best.
My name is Isaac Kwame Namensa, properly known as Balu. I came to school. I promise to my house. The name of the house is Asimeku. I told them that this year our batch we will win the National Science and Maths. We did it. We did it again. We did it again.
What should we expect in a national competition?
Tell those there, they came to schools. Yeah, we are coming.
Hi, contestants, tell me.
Actually, it's all good. Everything we did, we
we just thought we were doing our best, but it turns out God actually had better plans. Like, so we are just it was just good.
The best.
Expect the very best. Shama SHS, we are coming like fire.
Coming like fire.
Yeah, coming like fire.
Before we started the zonal championship, we told the other schools in Western region to prepare for Shama because we were coming, and we delivered. Now we are making another promise.
Thank you.
All the other schools prepare for Shama because we are coming for the national championship, and we are not stopping till we get it. That's all we.
The Absa Western Zonal Championship just ended. We have a champion, and that champion, Shama Senior High School. They are the winners for the Western Zone Absa Championship. Well, we're lucky to have with us here Samuel Ajo. He's a coordinator for the National Science and Maths Schools. We're here to find out from him what it was like, the qualification contest, and then the Absa Zonal Championship here in the Western region. You're welcome to JoyNews.
Thank you.
Great. You've seen the contest, Shama Senior High School, they are winners for the Absa Western Zone Championship. Are you surprised?
Well, I would say I am surprised in the sense that coming to this competition for 2022, having known them over the years, we were expecting them to live up to this kind of lift up their game in this manner. In actual fact, they did extremely well. I mean, judging from what they did right from the qualifiers. The qualifiers, they met a stiff opposition in the form of GSTS and other schools, and naturally, we all felt that it was going to be a contest between GSTS and Shama, and of course, we believed that GSTS was going to walk away with the trophy or with the qualification. But to our surprise, Shama put up a splendid performance and beating GSTS very well. I mean, I think 42-30, which was a resounding beating that they gave to GSTS, and GSTS indeed acknowledged that, look, these guys have come a long way and they have proved their mettle. Then moving on to that, onto having qualified, then we have to move on to the Absa Bank Western Zone Zonal Championship. Then again, they continued their feat, where they also met Secondary College, who also won massively in their qualifying contest with 52 points. So naturally, you would expect that, they won, I think, 44 points or so, but naturally, you would expect that, it's not going to be easy for Shama. But then again, as I was mentioning, they did what we were expecting that they should do in terms of the kind of performance they put out during the qualifiers. And again, they were to beat Secondary College, Seshrios and Akontumba and all this. Then the bigger stage was set, where they met the former Absa Bank Western Zonal Champion studies, Archbishop Osa Girls. Yeah. And then again, the last year's finalists at St. John's. It was going to be a very exciting and tough contest that we all were envisaging. And indeed, it turned out to be. Because right from the word go to the final, it was a close contest, a close fight between all the three schools. And Shama SHS indeed proved that they have come to make a case for themselves in the NM School 2022 edition. Before we go, I'd want to say a big thank you to Absa Bank for being there to make this a reality, because without their support, of course, we couldn't have come this far with organizing this zonal champion show. We say a big kudos to Absa Bank for being our sponsor for the regional and zonal championship.
Well, so there's something really exciting coming up. Strong and Sassy, Joy FM's all-female talk show that takes the issues of women at heart, is set to take a new twist this May. Set to premiere on May 11, the show will introduce a new series dubbed My Story, which will take a dive into the lives of amazing women who have stood at the war front to fight amazing battles, have emerged victorious, and also have success stories to tell from their encounters as well. Well, let me leave all of that to Enimwa Ado, who's joining us to give us all the gist and what's to come. Hi, Enimwa. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. I was just saying to you that this is the first time in 4 years since I've worked here that I've been on the other side of an interview. So really interesting. Yeah. But what's more interesting is my stories.
Yes.
So
you know,
yeah, Strong and Sassy, we usually have, you know, like a group of girls and we're talking about different issues and, you know, we're exciting and we're having fun and we're trying to be as diabolical as legally possible. But this May, we want to maybe get a little bit more serious. Okay. And we want to tell the stories of women Because for a very long time, the stories that women are able to tell is controlled by external forces, or is controlled by men.
Right.
And so we're not able to tell all our stories without watering it down, or without, not being afraid to offend, or without not being able to, we're thinking about the judgment, or we're thinking about how people are going to feel about it. And this time we don't want to do that. We want to tell the stories as is, as powerful as they are, regardless of how it makes other people feel. So that's what we're doing with my stories. And we'll be telling stories of suicide, women who've lost their children, and women who've been abused, who've been raped, who've been beaten, who have survived, all of those things. So that's what we're doing. We're starting on the 11th of May.
Right.
And it's the same time, usual Strong and Sassy time, so Wednesdays, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., and we'll be running for 2 months.
So is that just for this month?
It's for May and June.
I mean, for the month of
May and June. Yeah.
Beyond that, what are we to
Well,
expect?
beyond that, I mean, we're going back to our madness and fun. And, what Strong and Sassy is a safe space for women to talk about the things that matter to them. So we'll talk about politics, we talk about, women in business, talk about relationships, love, children, everything from a young woman's point of view. So we're looking at strength, we're looking at fierceness, we're looking at breaking glass ceilings. I mean, so we'll continue with those conversations, but this is kind of a Strong and Sassy goes emotional for the next few months, just really wanting to, connect with our listeners who are having a hard time with
Can you give us an idea of some of the personalities we should be on the lookout for?
No, I can't. I'm not going
It's
to
all a
tell
surprise,
you. No,
right?
yes, it's all definitely all a surprise. You'll have to tune in to find out. But their stories are powerful. They're going to make you cry. They're going to make you think. They're going to, most importantly, make you feel like you are not alone in this world, regardless of what you're going through.
So, for someone watching us for the very first time, why do I need to stick and stay throughout the month of May and June and even beyond?
Well, actually, you don't need to stick and stay, for May, June. Just do one show.
Right.
And nobody will have to explain to you, why you won't be able to wait till the next Wednesday. So we're not asking you for a month or 2 months. We're just asking you from this Wednesday. Tune in. We're on Facebook this Wednesday because of football. But just tune in, watch us, and I won't need to explain what
So
you
it's even interactive.
Yeah, it's interactive as well. Yeah, we're on Facebook Live, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're everywhere.
Should this just be for the women?
Well, it's funny because the most vocal percentage of my listeners are men.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
So no, the men know that even though we tout it as a women's show, our listeners, a lot of them are men,
we are always supportive.
They love it. And
we're always
trying to figure out, our strategies and tactics, which is why they're tuning in. But of course, these stories are about your mothers and your daughters and your sisters and all of that. And so it'll definitely, help the men to be better for their spouses, as better fathers when you hear the story. So men, we love men. Yeah, we do.
We love women too.
You see.
So remind us once more of the time.
Okay, so it's Wednesdays. It's Wednesdays, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Your Superstation, Joy 99.7 FM, live on Facebook as well. But my story starts on the 11th of May.
Any wado for you, ladies and gentlemen. And that's where we take a break here on The Pulse. We'll return shortly. Please stay. And you're welcome back. As part of efforts to ensure cleanliness in the country, the Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Quartey, together with the Trade Union Congress, has embarked on a cleaning exercise ahead of the 22nd May Day celebrations. On Sunday, the minister has charged TUC to ensure cleanliness at all places.
As I thank you for the exercises that you've conducted today, the sacrifices that you've put in the effort today, I want to make a passionate appeal through this medium to organized labor that it is imperative that we ensure that our environment is clean. The Operation Clean Your Frontage bylaws have been passed. It has been gazetted. And all the 29 MMDAs will begin to go to house, from house to house. They will be assisted by the Metropolitan Municipal Health Officers, known as MEHOs, and also the city response team that has just passed out. and they will begin to issue summons to people who do not keep their immediate environment and their frontage clean. Again, I shall be grateful if organized labor will make it a point to at least wear the Operation Clean Your Frontage t-shirt on Fridays for Mother Ghana and for Greater Accra. I pray that organized labor will do that for us and also ensure that all businesses, all institutions and agencies under organized labor will ensure that first thing in the morning, they make sure their immediate environments are clean. This, when we do, will help the campaign. And one day, we'll look back and say, indeed, we all contributed to making Ghana, and for that matter, Greater Accra, one of the cleanest cities in Africa.
Regional Secretary for TUC, Frida Stephanie Frimpong, acknowledged the exercise to ensure cleanliness and good health.
Sunday is Workers' Day, and it's a very significant day because we look at the contribution of workers towards the development of this nation. And so we thought it's a good opportunity because this is a laudable idea. Cleaning our frontage, which is the campaign that the RCC, led by the minister, is carrying across. And we thought that this is an opportunity for us. I mean, we are known for supporting good causes. I mean, throughout the struggles for the independence up to date, workers contribute immensely. You go to the factories, you go to the classrooms, everywhere workers are contributing. And so it's not just our profession, but now we want to support because it's our day. And we want to have a clean environment. We want to have an environment that is conducive even for the celebration. And also we've realized that if you look at the theme for the May Day, it's looking at job. We are protecting our jobs. We want to have job security. We want to have income security, even in this COVID era and beyond. And we have realized that one of the issues that can impact negatively on our health is sanitation issues. And so we thought that this is timely, and it's a very laudable idea to support, and that is why we are supporting. So it's for Workers' Day, and for us to also contribute our quota to the campaign.
Now, the growing trend of widespread unethical behavior in various institutions have contributed to a high moral decadence in society, which is having a rippling effect on the growth of the country. This attitude needs to be stopped through education in order to prepare for a progressive future. These are the thoughts of the renowned chartered accountant, Kojo Mpieni, who was speaking on ethical behavior at the Faculty of Accounting and Finance in collaboration with the UPSA Global Alumni Association. There's more in this report.
Destroying any nation does not require the use of atomic bombs. Neither does it require the use of missiles or chemical weapons. It only requires the lowering the quality of education and allowing cheating in the examination of our students. When you allow cheating, we are finished. What is the result? Now, shall we all read the results? The first one, patients die in the hands of such what? Buildings collapse in the hands of such what? Money is lost in the hands of such economists and all of you. Humanity perish in the hands of such religious scholars. Justice is lost in the hands of such lawyers and judges. Governance is lost in the hands of such legislators. The collapse of education is the collapse of a nation. So you see that when we lack education, we lack wisdom, and the whole society will lack ethics and values. Such a society is bound to fail and, of course, collapse. Do you want to know about Ghana? Let's look at the story of Ghana, our motherland, the country we should protect. This is Ghana. Our legislators not fighting in the House. Our honorable members not fighting. Didn't somebody put a blade, alleged to have put blade in his pocket? Didn't a leader of parliament accuse all Supreme Court judges of bribery? What happened? This is Ghana. An apology and a retraction. Now sleeping dogs are lying. We're talking ethics. There was a chop bar underneath the magnificent Pokwase interchange. Somebody went to build a chop bar there. As I make this presentation, some persons have been arrested for disturbing public peace over a party primaries, just primaries. They are fighting. Football games are won by referees and not the players. Have you seen some of the outraging things our one-man church leaders are doing these days? The last time a video that went viral, a man of God produced a passport from his shoes in Ghana. We need education so that we can open our eyes. Without education, you and I are finished. It is unbelievable, but it's true. The last time somebody who were qualified went to write the IC exams for another friend and was arrested. We need to be careful. Ghanaians still get into the security agencies, and to some of our universities we face security, even now. Because of politics, we can insult any former president and a sitting president. Behind the power of radio, we are saying all kinds of things without any apology. There's no point to talk about our social media platforms. Office romance is now a very common happening. Slave queens are now champions in Ghana. They now have lists. They tell us, we have lists, oh, if you people don't shut up, we shall release the list. And people will keep quiet. Sex for grace is still alleged to happen in some of our universities in Africa. Some chartered accountants still assist their clients to cook their accounting books. See how our Uber drivers, Bolt, Yango, see how they drive.
The National Road Safety Authority says it is consulting with appropriate stakeholders, including district, municipal and metropolitan assemblies, on how to complement rather than undermine its efforts. The Acting Director General, Engineer David Osafo-Adontain, says that the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, the Ghana Highway Authority, the media and the police must all work together to assist reduce road crashes and fatalities. The call follows engagement with the police in the Ashanti region as they investigate some incidents there in the parts of the country. We have more in this report by Ohimi Tevia.
On Easter Monday, an NRSA team participating in an outreach program received a shock of their lives when two officials from the Bosomtwe District Assembly assaulted and obstructed their activity. The men were enraged by the team's actions and hurled insults at the team while seizing a metal barricade that was being utilized as a barrier. Following a police complaint, the NRSA condemned the incident and called for a meeting with the assembly officials. Acting Director General, Engineer Osafo-Adontain, says it is against the National Road Safety Act 2019 to obstruct and interfere with the operations of the authority.
Our staff in the regions have started executing their official duties on the roads. In most cases, you find them as a team, branded like I am, going to enforce the standards as regards the use of the roads. They have been intimidated. They have been threatened. And in some cases, there have been a lot of interference from the public and others. This is regrettable. It's unacceptable. We are exercising our official duties granted by the new Act 993 of 2019. I do not see why our men should be threatened when they are executing their official duties. We have had a couple of them, especially in the Ashanti region.
Whilst appealing for support from industry players, Engineer Adontain is calling for respect for the mandate of NRSA as enshrined in Act 993. According to him, it is only when all stakeholders collaborate that more lives and property could be saved.
All the players within the space providing services through road infrastructure, design and construction and maintenance, vehicle structural integrity, those who are providing services in terms of public transport or commercial transport services, we will regulate them. We are to ensure that they comply with standards that they themselves have developed, or we will help them develop. It means that the police will do their own work in terms of enforcing the road traffic regulations. But we are coming to complement that, look at institutional standards and ensure that they comply with. For example, is the road infrastructure. We don't think that a road can be called a safe road if it doesn't have line markings, road signs, walkways, pedestrian crossings like footbridges, and so on. It is our mandate to ensure that we collaborate strongly with the institution that is responsible for that.
From Kumasi, for JoyNews, I'm Materia reporting.
You're still here on the Pulse with me, Blessed.